YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here with another Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here with the video where we're going to be talking about an article that was just put out by JP Finley talking about the team being sold, soon, and it could be by March. Also, Washington has requested to interview Dolphins passing game coordinator DARRELL BEVELL for their vacant offensive coordinator position. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL, or in this case, on Washington Commanders. We're on the road to 6,000 subscribers, so please hit that subscribe button again if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Also, tomorrow I'll be going live on the channel for a Washington Commanders roundtable with my guy Pedro Schmidt, with Jairus, with Tim, with Protect. So please come through at 8 p.m. tomorrow on the channel. Now, with that out of the way, let's get straight into today's video. So, I'm kicking back watching the Cowboys game, man. I'm recording this, I believe they should be coming out of half, right now. It was 18-0, Cowboys dominating the game right now. I'm going to start by saying this, okay? It's two halves to a football game, okay? So, Cowboys fans, don't start celebrating, you know what I'm saying? You should be up 21-0, but Brett Meyer, he missed 3 PATs, right? 18-0, right now, y'all look good, okay? Y'all look good, but it's two halves, and I still think Brady gonna come through and light y'all up in the second half. Am I being biased because I hate the Cowboys? Yes, I do, but I picked Brady to beat y'all today, so I think they still gonna come back. You feel what I'm saying? So, I think the offense need to get going. I think they need to continue to try to move the ball down the field. There are too many Chris Godwin screens, man. Brady is missing passes left and right, but this isn't a breakdown. I'm gonna come back later on for that. But 18-0 right now is you're scoring the Cowboys game. I'm gonna try to get this kicked off so I can go ahead and finish watching the rest of that. But hopefully the Bucs can fix themselves and beat these Cowboys, man. But okay, so JP Finley put out an article today, basically addressing the sale, and the article reads as follows. He put out a tweet saying this. The three main topics that he covered was the Commanders sale news per multiple sources. Sale expected to happen soon, maybe by March. And that's the expected length of the sale process, which will more likely not confirmed, as we already know. If the team is getting sold by March, the same regime is going to be here, Ron Rivera, Jack Del Rio, okay? Because a new owner can't come in. Well, they shouldn't come in and fire right away, because that's too soon of a turnaround. Okay, the draft is in April. If you come in here in March, you then give yourself just a month to look for a new coach. Okay, and he has to get his staff together in under a month right before the draft. That's too much. So Ron Rivera, as we know, is going to be here next year, with a new owner. Next quote is Todd Bowley is out. You remember I made a video on him a couple of days ago. He's a part owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he's a majority owner of Chelsea. And I said, hey, y'all, I don't know a lot about this guy, but he is from Maryland. So I really don't want no parts of a hometown guy anymore, because we got that with Dan Snyder. And also, a lot of people that are Chelsea fans says he's came in and since taking over a majority owner of their team, he's driven them to like 10th in the Premier League. So they're not good. So a lot of people were telling me, hey, Juan, he's not a good owner, man. So a lot of people weren't feeling him. Good news, he's out, because I wasn't feeling him either, bro. I didn't really like. I hear that he spends a lot of money, and he seems too hands-on. I don't want an owner like that. We already had that again with Dan Snyder, so he's out. So we don't got to worry about Todd Bowley buying the team. Next quote is Jeff Bezos likely out, but the door is not closed. Again, we covered the Jeff Bezos thing yesterday. Snyder family already said that they have no interest in selling to Dan Snyder. Jeff Bezos hasn't placed a bid yet. But again, I said Jeff Bezos is probably waiting to place a bid to where when Dan is kind of desperate to sell the team, even though he doesn't want to sell it to Bezos, if Bezos is like the only guy giving him the money that he's looking for to sell the franchise, and it's astronomical amount of money, I should say. Let's say like he wants $6.3 billion at least, or the team is worth like $6.3 billion is the latest bid, the highest bid so far. What if Bezos come in and say, I'll give you 7.5 for it? Dan's gonna be floored by it, whether he wants to sell the team to them or not, because he clearly doesn't, right? But if he gets floored by a sale or offer from Jeff Bezos, he has no choice but to turn it down. Okay, but again, I don't think Jeff Bezos is going to own the team. I think Dan is going to be too petty. He doesn't want to sell to him, obviously because of the Washington Post incident. So he's likely out, but again, it's not confirmed. But for the most part, Bezos is out on Washington, on becoming a Washington owner, not because he doesn't want to, but because our petty owner Dan Snyder doesn't want to sell it to him. And then the next thing is Josh Harris might be a top candidate for the Washington Commanders. That was just the three heading. Now let's get into the full article here. The article goes on to say this. Let me go ahead and scroll down to it here. Let me go ahead and click the link here. NBCSports.com, posted by JP Finley. The sale of the Commanders will be over soon, according to multiple sources speaking with NBC Sports Washington. How soon? That's unclear. And while the NFL might not want any major news stories during the playoffs, an announcement could come as soon as March. The league holds an annual meeting at the end of March through the new league year. Opens at 4 p.m. on March 15. Ideally, a new owner could be installed prior to that date so Washington could hit the ground running during free agency. There's also news regarding Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. Early reports suggest he was the front runner to buy the Commanders, though that no longer seems to be the case. Bezos did not submit an official bid for the Commanders when proposals were due just before Christmas. Sources told NBC Sports Washington front office Sports first reported that news. That does not necessarily preclude a Bezos offer from coming in the later times. Though multiple reports, sources said that Dan and Tanya Snyder prefer not to sell the franchise to Amazon founder. Still, Bezos has immense wealth in a way no other potential Commander ownership group can bring to the table. And some sources said to not count out Bezos until a sale to another group is finalized. So again, like I said, as much as Dan does not want to sell to Jeff Bezos, this man has so much money that he can just floor Dan with an offer that no other ownership group can touch. Okay. Some with league knowledge suggest that Bezos might be a candidate to buy the Seattle Seahawks if or when the team becomes available. Majority owner Paul Allen died in October 2018, and in the time since his sister Jody Allen has taken over the organization in July. She in a July statement, she said no sale immense and an unwinding time and sizable estate like her brother could take 10 to 20 years. More news on the sale from shows that Todd Boehly has pulled out the Commanders' bidding per multiple sources. Boehly was rumored to be among the non-Bezos frontrunners for the team as he had graduated of the Bethesda Maryland Landon School and active in professional sports ownership. That leaves Josh Harris, a DC native, and the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers and New Jersey Devils, as perhaps the top candidate to buy the Commanders. In May, Pro Football Talk reports that a group led by Harris was prepared to pay $5 billion for the Denver Broncos, though the group chose not to enter into the bidding war against the eventual owners, the Walton Penner Group. The group had the backing of the Walmart fortune, and in turn, the Harris Group decided to focus on the next potential NFL ownership opportunity. The Broncos sale was approved by the league in August, and the Commanders announced on November 2nd that Snyder family will consider potential transactions. Further, among the remaining ownership candidates, there is a firm belief that a return to RFK Stadium grounds in Washington is a real possibility. The Commanders currently play at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland, and some ownership groups believe that could be a viable practice facility on the current stadium site and a return to the city to play games. The team's current practice facility is in Northern Virginia training camp at the Commanders Park in Ashburn, Virginia, and could be fetched for a healthy sale price if the team did move its headquarters to the land of FedEx Field. So that's pretty much the end of JP Finley's article. Again, another, a great article put together by JP Finley, basically hitting on the key points that we already discussed earlier. Now, Harris, Harris is now assuming to be the front runner to buy this team. He's a DC native, which is, could be a positive thing or a negative thing. Again, Dan Snyder was a DMV native. He was a lifelong fan. I don't know if this Harris guy is a lifelong fan of the team, but he owns the 76ers and the New Jersey Devils, and he was interested in buying the Broncos, but then obviously the other group beat him out to it, and now he could be the front runner to buy the Washington Commanders. So let me know what you guys think about that and that part of the video. Now let's get into the interesting part. So while the ownership stuff is being talked about, obviously Ron Rivera, with the firing of offensive coordinator Scott Turner, still has some work to do in hiring a new offensive coordinator. So in the midst of all of the sale drama, we have this. The Commanders have requested to interview Dolphins quarterback coach / passing game coordinator Darrell Bevel for the vacant offensive coordinator job. Now, Bevel has worked with many young quarterbacks around the league, but a lot of people were not too fond of the interview because he is the guy that told the Seattle Seahawks to pass the ball on the 1-yard line in the Super Bowl game instead of giving it to Marshawn Lynch. Now, obviously, that's a big mistake, but you don't want to just wave that whole guy's career on that. He was the Lions' former offensive coordinator, and I can remember vividly Lions fans not liking Darrell Bevel. But again, I think Ron is looking for a guy that is going to, do with not necessarily what he wants, but kind of fit what he has an idea for this team in the future. That is a guy that's going to run the ball and control the clock and stuff like that. And then he also has some young guy experience with developing young quarterbacks, right? And obviously we came out that Sam Howell is probably going to be the Washington Commanders starter in 2023 to at least start going into training camp. So that's what I think Ron is looking for. Me personally, I want a guy that's going to come in here and get these weapons more involved. I'm not too worried about the running game. Obviously, I love B-Rob, and I don't want to abandon the run game completely, but I don't want that to be the main vocal point of this offense because we're not in 2000. We're not in 1985 where running is just going to win you games, okay? Look at Derrick Henry. He's one of the best running backs in football, but he's not winning nothing because, one, there's no time around him, and it's easier to just stack the box and defend the run. But when you have a good balanced mixture of passing and running, you're very hard to stop. And we didn't have that. And Ron Rivera, it doesn't seem like he wants that. He wants a team that's just focused solely on running, and I can't get down with that. Or focus more on run, as he said, 2-to-1 ratio, right? But a little bit background information on Darrell Bevel before we get out of here and let you guys go ahead and finish watching the Cowboys game. Bevel rushing offense was 4th in the league with 2,188 yards, and he averaged 136.8 yards per game. Overall, in total offense, Bevel team finished 18th in the league, producing 339 yards per game. So that is kind of probably what got Ron Rivera excited. That this guy's offense has produced 4th in the league in rushing. And this is obviously back during the time when he was offensive coordinator and not now with the Dolphins. So that's probably why Ron is interested in hiring this guy. I'm telling you, we're going to hire a guy that is going to do what Ron wants to do, and that's run the ball, control the clock, protect the quarterback, and not put him in harm's way. And I don't know if a lot of fans are going to be fond of that, but that's what he wants. So let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section down below. The owner news and Washington requesting to interview Darrell Bevel. As always, it's me, Will Juan Gotti, one over the 6,000 subscribers. So please hit that subscribe button if you are new. I'm out. Peace. Cost me one time, that's gonna get you popped.